tell you what, it's been a cold few days. All this snow and stuff. Some people like it, some don't. Tell you what, it's absolutely ball freezing. Welcome back to the Moor Army podcast, guys, for another week. Welcome back to the Tuesday's edition of the podcast. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Most importantly, keep warm. It is bloody freezing, so it is. What a few days has been all across the UK, not even just here in Northern Ireland, but obviously across the UK, as temperatures have went through the floor. We've had snow, and it's just been really cold. A lot of you have been touching me over the last few days about the cold weather and stuff, so we're going to talk about that today on the podcast. But anyway, yes, guys, hope you're all doing well out there. Back for another week of it. It's been a interesting few days, so to say. Our weekend's plans were all completely changed due to the weather, but yeah, it's been an interesting but cold few days since I last spoke to you on Thursday's podcast. I'm going to check out last week's podcast. You are available, guys, whether you're listening to the podcast here for the first time or not, on Apple Music, Spotify, or if you're listening to it on YouTube. They are available to go back and listen to them. But anyway, yes, another week of it. I've just sat down here this morning to record the podcast, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even got a subject to talk about today. And then I remember asking you guys, I think it was either last week or the week before, to send me in your Christmas memories. And I thought, I actually forgot about that. So, and then obviously with the weather and stuff like that there as well, just thought I'd talk about everything that's been going on over the last. Plus, I want to talk about different things like a lot of you people who listen to me in the mainland England about all these rail strikes, and also even over here in Northern Ireland. For what I've heard, actually, it was last night I think I heard we're doing rail strikes over here. I don't know. Airports have been going to be doing strikes as well, all about pay and staff and things like that. So we'll get into that there shortly as well here on the podcast today. So anyway, yes, guys, it's Tuesday. I have to behave myself today. As you all know, this is the family-friendly podcast. So if you prefer more of me being, should we say, unleashed, as it's called, on a Thursday, then obviously Thursday's podcast is for you. Seems to be the more popular one, to be honest, but still got a good amount of listeners here on Tuesday, so thank you very much for all that. But before I go any further into the podcast today, I just want to do the usual rounds of housekeeping, as I like to call it, where I'd like to obviously fill you in and all the information here about the Moor Army podcast. So if you're listening to me today for the first time, welcome. If you're not, then hello again. If you want to get in touch with the podcast, it's a very easy thing to do. All you got to do is, by the following methods, is contact us by email. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about here on the podcast, I don't know, maybe an anniversary shout out, birthday shout out, special occasion, whatever, drop me an email, moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, if you are on the world of social media, which a lot of you are on social media nowadays, you can contact the Moor Army official Facebook page, which is called the Moor Army YouTube channel, which obviously designed for the YouTube channel, which is the main hub, should we say, of our Moor Army, which is the YouTube channel first of all. But now we've obviously got this podcast. If you want to go to Facebook, just search Moor Army YouTube, drop a like on it, and also check out all the stuff on there as well. And also, if you're on Instagram and you'd like to contact the podcast, you can contact myself directly, which is official Matthew Moore on Instagram, which a lot of you have done. So thank you very much for that. Now, also, before with the final bit of the housekeeping here, as you all know, Christmas is under 2 weeks away. And if you'd like to get some Christmas Moor Army and also Moor Army podcast merchandise, you can head over to the Moor Army hub, as I like to call it, the main area where you can go in and watch all the videos, check out all our social media posts, buy your merch and more at moorarmy.co.uk. We were doing a wee offer there at the weekend, guys, where if you spent more than £25, our lovely suppliers who set up our store for us sent you a pack of, I don't know, it's a couple of, I'm not too sure, or one or what, they send you some free Christmas socks. to keep your feet nice and warm at Christmas. So nice some Christmas socks for you. Yeah, you can get all your merchandise and stuff like that there on there. moorarmy.co.uk. So it's www.moorarmy.co.uk, where you can get all your Christmas merchandise. And delivery will, at the time of this recording, you will still get it in time for Christmas, even though some of the Royal Mail strikers are on strike at the minute. So, but you still will get it. So there you go, moorarmy.co.uk. Somebody have been sending me pictures over the last few days with your hoodies and your t-shirts and stuff like that. It's available for men, women and children. And there's not even just Christmas stuff on there. There's other stuff too. Summer wear, you can get like your summer stuff. You can get all different types of merch on there. We even do Moor Army jigsaw puzzles. We do Moor Army posters. And we're hoping to get more merch very, very soon. So that's moorarmy.co.uk. Guys, what a weekend. It has been bloody freezing, hasn't it? It's been absolutely foundering. I feel like I cut glass with my nipples. I don't know, this is a family-friendly podcast, but I'm just being honest. It is so cold out there. Weekend, Lewis and I were supposed to go to football the weekend, and it was that cold and that bad on Saturday morning, even though the team that we work for, as you all probably know by watching the vlogs, and people who are out there who don't know that, I work on weekends, and I'm recording this podcast. You can probably hear an ambulance going by my house. It's the joys of living near a main road. Yes, so as you all probably know, I work for a football club which has a new stadium, 4G pitch and all that there, so you're thinking it's all weather, the match will still go ahead probably. Not this past Saturday. All the surrounding areas around the stadium, all up the stands, some of the pitch, obviously because there was no sunlight getting to it, was completely frozen, and our game was called off. So there was no football the weekend for us. Some bits and pieces across the country still went ahead. I even seen the Portadown boys on at the goal mouths with like a flamethrower heater type thing to try and melt the snow to get the match to go ahead. People go to any type of length to get the match to go ahead. So we had no football, and I ended up going out on Saturday afternoon with a friend and just spending the afternoon out and about. Went to the shopping centre in Ards and just pattered about and stuff like that, and was out on Saturday night with a friend as well, and it was weird not having football on a Saturday, so it was. Now, England were playing on Saturday night, as you all probably know, in the World Cup, and I'm going to talk about football here, and you're probably going to think, oh god, he's talking about football again. England were playing France on Saturday night in the World Cup. I caught the game, I caught the game, and England are now out of the World Cup. Now there's a lot of controversy going around. People were saying like, oh, the referee was dodgy and blah 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 blah. And bottom line is, guys, Harry Kane scored a penalty and he also missed a penalty. England are now out of the World Cup. France took their chances, they got their goals, and they're through to the semi-final, which is another unfortunate tournament for England. Now the fact that they've been eliminated at the quarter-final stage. But I've heard over the last couple of days, people were saying like, you know, oh, Gareth Southgate should be sacked, he should be gone now, he should step down, blah 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 blah. I know obviously they were going through a bit of a rough patch start leading into the tournament itself, but at the end of the day, guys, he got them to the European Championship final last year. He got them to the quarter-final of the World Cup this year. So, and he's got a good bunch of players there, but then people were coming on. I think it was, who was it football-wise? Was it Joey Barton, I think it was, put up saying, he's just not good enough. Bring in somebody who's good enough to win the tournament. So a lot of England fans have been contacting me directly, asking me my thoughts on the England game against France the weekend. Personally, I think England should have won the game. If Harry Kane had scored that penalty, it could have been a completely different thing. Could have been 2 each, went the extra time. Possible chance England could have won it. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and England are out of the World Cup. Now, in the morning of recording this podcast today, the first semi-final is tonight, Argentina against Croatia. And here's the thing. Morocco are in the semi-final of the World Cup. Like, what? What? Seriously? If you'd have been doing like an office pool or something like that at work and you get pulled out Morocco, you're probably thinking, oh God, here we go. I'm now screwed. I've got Morocco or whatever. Here, you're not laughing now, are you? I've been in many office pools for years, like work pools and stuff, like World Cups and Euros and stuff like that, and you get drawn with the crappy teams and you're thinking, oh God. Like I remember back in 2004, and I was working in a place at the time, this guy was drawn Greece, and he thought, oh, that's me done. You may as well just take my money now. Greece went on to win the bloody tournament. So, it's been a strange World Cup. There's been some shocks. There's been a lot of shocks. A lot of teams just haven't turned up. Like, for example, the Italians, because they didn't qualify. But, it's been a funny old tournament, and it's been interesting. So it has, and I'm looking forward to these two semi-finals over the next 2 nights to see. Now, Lewis is obviously saying that Messi's going to win it for Argentina. People are saying, it's written in the stars for Messi to win the World Cup. And I'm going, never count your chickens before the roost. Trust me. What do you say? There's going to be another twist to the tail somewhere. I on paper, it should be France against Argentina in the final. And if it was the case, then obviously I would like to see France win it. So they are the current holders, but I'd like to see them retain it. Full memories of France winning the World Cup back in the day, 1998. God, that was a great tournament. I love that World Cup. My favourite World Cup of all time still to this day is 1990. So it was still this day, 1990. My favourite World Cup of all time. But anyway, going on to that there, we're looking forward to the semi. We're going to watch the semi-finals over the next 2 nights, so it should be interesting to see what happens over the next 2 nights as England are no longer there and they're home. So they're back home again, and the Premier League season will be starting back here pretty soon as well. So Liverpool were playing the other day as well, and they got beat 3-1 by Lyon. So I caught the highlights of that game. Some of you were mailing me on Instagram saying, are you not doing a live reaction to the game? I wasn't even home when it was on. So might do one for the next game, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But the Premier League's coming back very soon, which is great. It's weird though, because this World Cup's in the winter. It's still really, really weird. But it's been an entertaining World Cup in some degree, for what I saw of it. So it's going to be one not to be forgotten. But anyway, moving back to us. We we didn't do very much on Saturday. I didn't do very much. There was no football on Saturday and stuff like that there. So we ended up getting a bit of snow on Sunday. And when I say snow, it was coming down like a mother trucker. And we've had snow all over the country the last lot of days. I mean, I was on, what do you call it? Instagram or was it Facebook? I can't remember. It was the other day and I was watching the snow down south first of all, and I was thinking, yeah, they've got the snow down there, but we'll not get it. It'll probably blow the other direction and go across the Atlantic or something like that. We'll not get it again. But we got a wee bit here in Bangor. Got a little bit of snow. But over in the mainland mostly, it's been coming down rightly. And I've seen a lot of people's pictures and videos and stuff like that there on social media in relation to the snow. We haven't been too bad over here, which is actually not too bad at all. If you watch my vlog from yesterday, or yesterday's, you'll see me out near falling on my backside yesterday. I actually just released the video before I recorded this today. I was out yesterday for a little bit in the afternoon, and I was heading around to Mum and Dad's near falling on my backside twice. And then the day before, you saw Lewis. You probably saw that vlog already. In the morning, Lewis was out the front getting ready for school, and he was standing. It was more turned into the ice by this stage. And he was wearing his wee silly Christmas hat and whatever else. So, yeah, the snow came, guys, but didn't get as much as what we expected. But some parts of this country did get bad snow. But I think it's because I live more towards the sea. I don't get as much snow, to be honest. But a lot of you have been obviously asking me about the snow and stuff over the last few days. How heavy is your snow in your area? This is what I have in my area. People even sent me photographs of their garden, saying, what do you think of this here? People who listen to the podcast in Scotland. I have a cousin who lives in Scotland who's married to a Scottish girl, and they've been living there donkey years. They actually met in university a long, long time ago. They live... Where's they live? I can't even remember where it is. They live in Scotland now. Oh, my head's went to blank. But every year they get snow, deep snow. I remember a couple of years ago he posted on social media. It was either pictures or videos of himself jumping off his shed in the deep snow. It was that deep. He was managed to jump into it. So Scotland does get it quite bad though. So they do. But no, don't get me wrong. I love the snow. I absolutely love the snow. But to drive in it, or when you're out trying to do something important in it, and it's got to the stage where it turns to like a black ice or icy stage where you end up falling your ass and making a complete fool of yourself. Not really. Don't get me wrong, you've seen me in the vlogs over the years playing snowball fights with the kids and stuff. Funny enough, it was the other day, it popped up in one of my memories on my personal Facebook of the time I made the vlog out the back with the kids where we were making snowmen. Then a lot of you long time followers out there watched that video where Brigg and Lewis built 3 snowmen, Mr. Snowy, Mrs. Snowy and Baby Snowy they called it. And That was, God, how many years ago that was? I would say it was a good 3 or 4 years ago. They were doing snow angels in the driveway and everything too. It was flipping mad that day. But I always have a lot of great fond memories of being in the snow. I'll tell you a story, actually, a snow story. There you go, a snow story. It was Christmas 1990. Now let me think about this. Let me get my old memory clock going here. 1990. I'm trying to think, was it the year 95? I think it was 95. Christmas 95. Hold on. I'm trying to think. I think it was Christmas 95. I always remember getting the football kit that Christmas, and going out and playing football in the snow. It was snowing on Christmas Day. It was pure white. And I remember going out and playing football with a white ball. I know. But, yeah. That was a good fond memory. I remember always in my memories of the snow when I lived in Belfast as a young boy. Recent years, when the kids were very, very small, I actually have pictures. I think I've actually got that picture on my Instagram, where Lewis was only a wee small thing, and I had him in a snowsuit, sitting in the street on a street curb outside our old house when we were still obviously still married to his mum, and we were still together at the time. And Brooke was a wee tote too. I've actually got a photograph of that. The two of them sitting together in the snow. So I have a lot of good memories, obviously a lot of bad memories, like being in the car one time with their mum trying to go around a corner and the car skidded and we hit a curb, and just all different memories and stuff like that there, of the good and the bad of the snow. But I do remember obviously growing up in Belfast and snow in the 80s and snow in the early 90s here in Bangor, and you know, at the end of the day we don't get it really as bad as what Scotland get it, or obviously the mainland and the likes of the Canadians and stuff like that, and Norway and all those places. There's a guy I watch on, I think it's either, I have a TikTok account, guys, but I don't use it. I only watch videos on it now and again. And there's a guy on there, and he was in Norway recently, and the view in Norway is just phenomenal. Like, my dad went to Norway years ago, back in the early 70s, when he was a young lad, part of a cross-community trip thing, with both sides of the community, Protestant and Catholics, were brought together, and they were brought away over to a trip to Norway. And Dad always tells me the story about that there, and he always says to me about it. There was a newspaper article about that, and there's photographs in the paper, but he can't, I think it was the Belfast Telegraph, and he can't find that picture anywhere. So what I've actually been on a mission the last couple of years to try and find that picture, obviously because the Telegraph obviously keep an archive of the all their pictures and things like that there. I would love to get a copy of that picture, just to surprise him. That'd be a queer vlog, wouldn't it? Maybe I should do that one day. But yeah, I have a lot of great snow memories, guys, but obviously there's a lot of people out there who don't like snow. People hate snow. I see people on social media all the time saying, I hate snow, hate driving in it, hate being in it, it's just the cold and whatever else. It's just not for me. Well, that's obviously everybody's cup of tea. I obviously make a lot of great memories with the kids. Obviously snowball fights, making snowmen, snow angels, whatever else. So, but I also remember, I maybe shouldn't tell us actually. It was a night out one time. I went out one night years and years ago. This is probably around about 2001, maybe it was before I was married. I was well before I was married. And I remember when I went out one night and it wasn't actually that cold at all, and I went out with no jacket on, had a shirt on, and I remember coming out of the pub in Bangor, and I wasn't even drunk or nothing, I only had a couple of pints, and I walked outside, it was pure white with snow, and it was absolutely freezing. But the old saying goes, like, whenever you drink alcohol you can't feel the cold. Well, trust me, I felt the cold that night, because obviously the sea was right beside us where the pier and stuff is nearby. It was freezing. I remember coming home with pure red arms, frozen because of the cold. But again, the snow's not for everybody. Obviously, the snow, I don't mind it. You know, it doesn't bother me as long as it's not too bad and you don't fall on your ass like I nearly did yesterday. But I feel sorry for people who, you know, like, not even people, actually, animals outside, the likes of sheep and horses, and people say, but they're used to it and all, and blah, blah, blah. And even dogs that sleep outside and things like that. I feel so sorry for them, especially when they're not being looked after correctly. You see a lot of things whenever the weather gets really, really cold, like dogs being left to freeze, and, you know, it's just heartbreaking. So it is really, really heartbreaking. And, you know, again, everybody says it's not for them, it is for them, it's not for them, I don't know, but it hasn't been too bad here, I must say. It hasn't been too bad. Now, they did say last night there was going to be heavy snow at 7 o'clock, and it never came, unless it decides to turn up today. Now, as we speak right now here on the podcast being recorded, I look out my window here now, and all I can see is a clear blue sky. But again, you never know. Maybe more snow could come. It's not for forecast, thank goodness, because I'm hoping to get back to football this Friday night. So I am. So I've got quite a busy week ahead of me, actually, with football on the Friday night. I've also got a Christmas night out to go to with the football club on Saturday night. So that's going to be fun. So I've all that to look forward to as well. So it's going to be a busy weekend for me, football related. So, but anyway, no, the snow hasn't been too bad here. And obviously a lot of you guys have been getting in touch with me over the last couple of days, showing me your snow pictures and stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of you out there like sharing stuff and things like that there, and it's been great to see some of your snow pictures. Obviously I've seen a lot of people on social media out with their kitties and stuff and doing pictures with newborn babies and everything else. So no, it's nice to see, and you can always get some beautiful pictures as well whenever you're out and about in the snow, but it's not for everybody obviously. So but what I would like to do for you guys, obviously, if you want to send me in some more of your messages and snow pictures and stuff like that, or if you get any more in before Thursday, I'll obviously write some more out in Thursday's podcast for you. Some of you do obviously contact me quite regularly. Some of you more than often. But yeah, I'd like to see more of your snow pictures and stuff. So you want to send me an email or send me a message on social media and let me know what you think about the snow and whatever else. I would like to hear from you. So it's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. And obviously the social media feeds as well. But anyway, yes, snow has been here. It's gone. Here, before I continue on about all this stuff, about the strikes and stuff like that, a lot of you are still emailing me. And all I've seen since last Thursday, since I stopped recording the podcast, as you all probably know, I talked about the Harry and Meghan thing. A lot of you have been contacting me about this. And it's like this whole Harry and Meghan thing is still going on over this last weekend, and obviously into this week as well. People are slating them left, right and centre about this documentary. Now there's another 3 episodes dropping this Thursday. Not that I'm trying to give them a cheap plug or them, because as I said to you the other day, I only watched the first 10 minutes and I felt like either pulling my eyeballs out or just going to the dentist and lying down saying, don't give me any freeze, don't freeze my mouth, and I'm just take my teeth out one by one, just pull them out. It's like pulling teeth. And I saw clips pop up on TV over the last couple of days where people have been talking about them and stuff, and just the most cringiest part I saw, guys, is whenever you seen her sitting on the sofa with Harry and she's pretending to do the curtsy thing and all that there. Oh, hello, your majesty, and she's doing the wee curtsy thing, and the look on Harry's face, it was so cringy. Like, if that was me, I'd turn around and say, excuse me, you're taking the piss out of my grandmother, do you mind not doing that? I wouldn't even let that part air on the actual documentary. But again, I don't know. A lot of you have been saying to me personally, he still emailed me and stuff saying you're disgusted with it. I got an email the other day. It must have been one of the haters or something like that the other day. Emailed me saying that they were disgusted at the fact that I even brought it up on the podcast, and I should be ashamed of myself because they're wonderful people. Listen, I've said this before. They're egotistical morons who are slating and burying our country. Well, not even just Northern Ireland, obviously the UK in general, from all walks of life. They're burying us from left, right and centre. And some people have said they shouldn't even be allowed back into the UK. And even with Charles' coronation coming up here next year, people have been even going as far and saying they shouldn't even be at that. And that's Harry's dad. And to be quite honest with you, the way they're getting on at the minute, because they're so self-driven and egotistical, I wouldn't even let them come to it. Obviously, Harry lives in his wee bubble now, and he's obviously living with her, and she's living in her little Meghan world and her little Meghan bubble, and she's walking around like all stressed out because the world doesn't spin round her right now. I'm sorry, darling, go and take a reality check. So, but yeah, thanks guys for all your messages over the last couple of days. It's been blowing up, so it has. People have been just constantly talking about these 2 clowns and saying how bad it is, and I wouldn't watch the documentary. I have no interest. I've seen people post on Facebook saying, oh, I'm going to watch the Harry and Meghan thing. I feel so sorry for them. Why? Why do you feel like they're just literally slating everything? And I talked about this the other day to a friend of mine. I was actually on the telephone with a friend of mine on Sunday night, I think it was. And they turned around and said to me that Diana, if she was still around to this day, would literally slap her across the mouth and tell her to get away from her son. But I don't know. I mean, you heard the emails that I read out last Thursday from what was that girl's name? She sent me an email. You heard it. Was it Jane? From what I remember, was literally and for what she said in her email, I've heard people on the news saying exactly the same thing, that their drama caused the downfall of the Queen and her husband. The stress of it all and all the drama. That obviously, I got an email the other day. I read it out the other day, but people have been saying it on the news as well, from all different channels all around the world. Even Americans are slating this documentary too as well, and she is American, Meghan. So I don't know, guys. It's madness, absolutely madness. And to be honest with you, I will never watch it because see things like that, I just sort of go, nah, no interest. Can't be bored. It's too much drama. Anyway, thanks for your emails, by the way, and all your messages, guys, but I do appreciate it. But anyway, yes, moving on. There's a lot of stuff that's been popping up on the telly the last few days about all these rail strikes and what else has been going on? Airports have been striking and hospitals. I mean, doctors and nurses, whatever else. Because even here in Bangor, we have a small local independent hospital here, Bangor Community Hospital. They're even outside protesting there about pay and about the conditions they're working in and all. I think I briefly touched on this here before about the NHS. Was it last week the NHS I was talking about? It was. But now, obviously, in the mainland, they're all protesting the railway lines, and is it Heathrow Airport they're going on strike. And I was watching the thing on last night. The only news channel I watch in the UK, guys, and I don't care what anybody says. You can call me whatever the hell you want from it, because I do get a lot of you haters out there come in and I get called everything from a far-right extremist and a racist and a homophobe and a flipping you name it. I get called it, and I just laugh at it because half of them don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But the only news channel I would watch if I get time is GB News, because they talk sense, they call BS, they smell BS a mile away. They're not like your typical lefty BBC or your Be Kind ITV, where it's all like one-sided and that's it, you know what I mean? But no, GB News, there's a guy I watch on there sometimes, and again, I'm probably going to get slated for this, and I really don't care, to be honest with you, because I like the way he just tells the truth. There's two guys I watch on there, Mark Dolan and Dan Wooten, who just sit there and look at the camera and call BS, like literally saying, this is ridiculous, we told you this was going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Unlike the BBC, it's like robots reading off a screen, scaring the life out of people and being all like, oh, you got to be our way or the highway, if you don't fit in the our bubble, we don't want to know you. But anyway, they were talking last night about the strikes and stuff, and saying obviously where it was going ahead and how it's affecting Christmas, and all these unions Royal Mail's going on strike as well. People are complaining about that, worrying. I mean, they said last night there was some statement made in one local tabloid paper saying that some people might even get Christmas cards till the end of January, which is just insane. Like, what a time of the year to go on strike, the busiest time of the year. I understand these people want to get better pay and looked after more because of the work they put in, and I completely understand that, because the likes of postal workers who are literally, I know a lot of postal workers in this country. I mean, even my wee postie comes here all the time. He is exhausted day in day. He works a 6-day week, that poor guy, and he is out, rain, sleet, shine, you name it, he's out in his feet and he's out in the road, and he is such a nice guy. I know a guy who's an Irish League manager who's also a postie. He's been a postie for I guess about 20 odd years, and again, he's out on his feet all day. Same as the guys in the sorting offices, and the people who are out there help getting all the parcels organised, and the guys out driving the vans and stuff like that there. And not even just Royal Mail, obviously other companies as well who are out delivering all year round. This time of year is obviously chock-a-block with people wanting to get their parcels and cards and whatever else ready for Christmas. But this time of year to go on a strike's a bit, And then again, with the rail strikes over there too as well, people are not able to be together and all. And I saw this comment last night that really, really annoyed me. This flipping conservative lefty balloonhead just came out and made a quote yesterday saying that he thinks that everybody should be having another virtual Christmas this year. Are you having a friggin' laugh, mate? We're not having no virtual Christmas. Now, for people who can't get to see their family because of the train strikes not there, okay, you're going to have to maybe video call them. But again, the way he was coming across was, yes, do your virtual Christmas is not there, but stay at home. Like, for example, I watched a guy, a thing on, where was it? I can't remember what it was, but it was an ITV news report, and this guy came on, he was reporting it on the news, and he was saying, like, well, you're not going to get sick this Christmas if you all stay at home. Really? I ain't staying at friggin' home again, there's not a chance. Just trying to ramp it up again, trying to get people to be scared. Oh, God, we got to stay at home again this Christmas. Aye, dead on, mate. Away you go. On your bike. See you later. It's not happening. But, no, these strikes and stuff like that, it's just getting... It's getting head scratching because they're doing it at the time of year which is the busiest, and then Heathrow apparently are striking for a few days as well. But then, as I saw yesterday myself, even locally here in Northern Ireland, like people right in the street protesting and striking outside hospitals. And I talked about this before, maybe even my experience in the hospital the last few weeks ago when I had my scare a lot of weeks ago at the hospital. They were understaffed, underpaid, and not utilised enough, and it's crazy. And I understand where they're coming from, because they're not being underpaid and they're not being looked after, especially with the way the inflation is right now. Everything's going up between gas, petrol, electric, oil, you name it, it's all up through the roof. The price of living is absolutely flipping insane. But at the time of year where it's the busiest, and it's like people, I see it from both sides of the fence, where it's like people's trying to get through Christmas. And I also see it from their perspective as well, where it's like these people need to be respectfully paid what they're due, because they're obviously working their ass off and they're doing their job all year round, the likes of a doctor or a nurse, like essential workers, like a postman or whatever. But again, I see it on the other side of the point where people are getting frustrated because there's going to be no flights out of Heathrow or no trains to get to see their families, or there's going to be no post getting there on time, or whatever it is. I completely understand that, and that's again is completely understandable, because I know that obviously those people are going to be frustrated because it's the busiest time of the year. So it is, and it's really, really, really frustrating. So, but I've seen all the things popping up over the last couple of days, but it's just that one comment I saw. Oh, just stay at home and have a virtual Christmas. Aye, see me doing it? I don't think so. You've ruined the last two Christmases. You're not going to ruin any more, believe me. Nobody's paying heed to it anymore. And that's just my personal opinion of it all. But, and this is another thing too as well, and just this whole crap they're putting on TV now about trying to get you to stay at home at Christmas again, and do this right and don't go here, and it's just like, really? Are we over that yet? Like, seriously, is it time to move on yet? But in all seriousness, guys, I want to know what you think about these strikes in relation to postal strikes or Heathrow Airport, or nurses and doctors strikes, or whatever it is, the strikes that are all going on at the minute. Are you out there, the listener? Are you on one of those picket lines or whatever? Let me know. Let me know what you think. MoreArmyPodcast at yahoo.com. Also social media links. In fact, I was actually sitting there, I had time yesterday. I was actually considering heading down to the picket line at the local hospital to interview a couple of nurses and doctors and whatever else, because they were obviously down there with local politicians and stuff, and I would love to interview some of them fools to see what they think about it all, because politicians in this country I wouldn't trust as far as to throw them. And that's just not anywhere. It's anywhere, but that's why I don't vote. Because politicians tell you one thing, then tell you another story for another day. I just don't listen to them, especially after the whole last 2.5-3 years where they've been standing telling us lies constantly. So that's just my opinion on it all, but I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you think about all these strikes, guys. Anybody who listens to me from the mainland, because I do get a lot of emails from like the Englands and Scotlands and Wales and whatever else here, and obviously Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland as well. So a lot of you do get in touch with me. So let me know what you think, guys, about these strikes and stuff, and how is it going to affect you over the Christmas period? Is it going to affect you over the Christmas period? Let me know what you think, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of you interested. A lot of you have a lot of interesting comments about all these strikes and stuff like that there, because I want to know how it's going to affect you over the Christmas period. So let's see how it goes from there. Right, guys, I'm going to go and get into the some of your questions for this week, because I'm going to obviously have to wrap this podcast up soon because I've got a very busy day today. So I'm going to stick around with you for maybe another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to head down the road because I've got a couple of things I need to do today, and obviously the big matches and all on tonight as well, so I want to get everything sorted out before obviously get to sit down tonight with Lewis and watch the Argentina game and hopefully see Lionel Messi crying. I was talking to I don't know if you saw the vlog the other day, guys, where I put up we put our Christmas tree up and Brooke's boyfriend was here, and he's a big Messi fan, and I was saying to him, I hope you've got your glass already, because whenever Messi doesn't win the World Cup, you'll be able to collect all his tears and have a wee cry about it and all. And I was just winding them up something shocking. I was so bad about it, but no, if Messi and Argentina get beat tonight, or they do get to the final and say they lose the final, I'm going to be winding them up So I don't know, wind that up something shocking, because he's a big Messi fan. But here's the thing, right? And I had this debate with Lewis the other day. This makes me laugh about this generation of football fans. If you've watched my vlogs for a long time, you probably know that Lewis was a big Messi fan when he was at Barcelona and stuff like that. Because I used to get him the Barcelona shirt every year with Messi on the back and all. And there's some videos where he's like running around my house and all, and out in the back garden playing, pretending to be Messi. And now he said he's a Ronaldo fan, and I was like, Lewis, you said years ago you didn't like Ronaldo. Oh, I didn't. I Lewis, dead on. Because sometimes he winds me up where he goes and slides along our floor and puts the arms out and goes, no, that Ronaldo celebration, that Jose, whatever it is he does. He's doing that there. And what about Messi? We used to run around the house all the time pretending you were Messi. No, I did not. And me, did you not? Go back and look at the vlogs. So that's a wee ongoing joke between myself and Lewis, and then obviously myself and Brooke's boyfriend Paul. But here, that's one thing I forgot to tell you. So actually, guys, I'm actually going to put it in one of the vlogs this week. Sorry, before I go to your questions, I actually forgot to mention this. I think I might have posted it. Did I post it on Instagram? I think I did, but I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast here, or I haven't mentioned it on my channel. A few weeks ago, Brooke was selected to go do a public speaking thing in a big high-end, I think I did maybe talk about it, did I? When I was talking about posh people, I can't remember. But I'm going to put in I got a couple of wee clips this week I'm going to show in the vlog. Brooke was selected for a speech thing for her school, to go to this big major competition thing, whatever. So she was up against all these ones from different higher education, and as I like to call them, the hierarchy of the society, the hoity-toity grammar educated people, where obviously us commoners don't fit in with. And she came third in the speaking competition. I think I did talk about it on the podcast, but I just popped it in my head there while I was sitting there talking to you. I got a couple of wee clips from that night, so not very much. You're talking maybe a minute of at the most a minute's worth. But I'm going to make a wee vlog on it this week, and I'm going to sit down and talk to Brooke about it, because Brooke done an exceptional speech on mental health in the UK and obviously the world, especially during the lockdowns and stuff like that. And her speech was just out of this world, and she blew my mind away. And a lot of people who were there said that Brooke actually should have won it, and even one of the judges voted for Brooke to win and said that Brooke should have won it. But then there was some other girl who won it, and even the wee girl who did win it come up to Brooke and said, oh my god, you were so good, you should have won it. So again, I don't know, I go back into conversations about all these different things, like is things fixed or whatever out there. I could go into that conversation all day about that, but I don't. But she's done really, really well. And I got a couple of, I will show pictures and stuff like that. I may even do a wee vlog maybe tomorrow or something about it, and just show you that week individual. Yeah, I think for what I got in the only footage I got off her was whenever she was receiving her third place award and an honour certificate as well for taking part. So I'll stick that in one of the vlogs this week. So yeah, she's done very, very well, guys. It was a speaking thing. It was held at Bangor Golf Club, so it was with all the posh people. No, it was a good night. So it wasn't. Brooke's speech was absolutely exceptional. I would love to actually see if I think she still has her speech written down. I would love her to perform it for the vlog, to let her get her message out there about mental health and stuff like that, because some of the things that she talked about in that speech was unreal. Guys, seriously, it would blow your mind. I was sitting in that chair beside mum and dad that night, and I was just looking at her going, oh my god, is that my daughter up there speaking, or is that like a professional speaker? And I'm not just being biased because she's my daughter. It was just so good to watch. So I might even say to her about that. She probably won't like, but I'll ask her anyway and see what she says. But I've got those wee clips to share anyway. So, but anyway, let's get into your questions. Right, here we go. Let's have a look here. I'll go into the emails first of all and have a look here and see. MoreArmyPodcast@yahoo.com, guys. Right, I've one here from Roy. And Roy is from, where's he from? Doesn't even say. It says, Matthew, I live out in the countryside with my wife and my dog. We're unlucky enough not to have any children just yet, because we're still quite young. But what is your thoughts of the countryside? Would you ever live out in the countryside at all? I seen a couple of your vlogs years ago where you were out and sort of walking around the countryside with Lewis, and obviously Brooke and others as well. So what do you think? What's your thoughts and views of living in the countryside? Love the podcasts. Keep up the great work with the YouTube channel. Sorry to hear about your channel being hacked recently, but glad to see all your videos starting to reappear back on the channel again. That's right, guys. There's been a lot more the old videos starting to pop back up again. I've got about another 300 or 400 still to put back out again, but they'll be back out again soon. Right, my thoughts on living in the country. Unreal. I'd love to. I remember I was actually re-releasing some of the old videos. Was it last week? And I came across one where Lewis and I were down at my dad's brother's house where he lived in the country, and we were in the farmer's fields and we were going around. We saw like what would it be, a ram or a goat or what was one of them weird looking things, I don't know. Saw one of them, and Lewis was only a wee young thing. Lewis was about, what was that, about 3 or 4 years ago? But yeah, I've always wanted to live out in the country because it's out of the way, it's quiet, and people say like, oh, but you're out there and you're away there and you're away from everybody and all, and you don't get to see as many people and all. But if you have a car, guys, you're fine. So I wouldn't mind actually living out there in the country sometime. Now, if I ever became a millionaire or something like that, I'd be away out living in the country. Because at the end of the day, it's out of the way and it's peaceful. You know what I mean? And you don't get any bother, and it's just so much fun. I would just love to live out there. Just the whole thing of, you know, just that country life. I've just always wanted it, and maybe one day I'll get it. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. Maybe one day, but you never know. See how it goes. Right, let's get back into the normal one here, guys. Right, let's have a wee look here and see. Right, we've got one here from Winston. Winston, okay. Hello, Winston. How are you? Winston is from Southern Ireland. Hello, Winston. How are you? He wants to know, Matthew, this is my favourite time of the year, Christmas time. I love spending as much time at Christmas with my family as possible. What are your plans for Christmas this year with your family? Will you be doing a Christmas vlog this year as you always do? And also, what is Brooke and Lewis getting for Christmas? And what would you like for Christmas this year? All the best. Merry Christmas. Love your channel. Love your new podcast, Winston. Hello, Winston. How are you? I'm doing all right. Thank you very much for your... Yes, Christmas time this year will be a very quiet one for me. I'm not going to obviously tell you what Brooke and Lewis are getting for Christmas because they do something. I think Lewis listens to the podcast sometimes, so I'm not giving away. Now, I can tell you... Oh, could I tell you what he asked for this Christmas? Well, I can tell you what he asked for, Lewis and Brooke. Here's the thing, guys. My kids don't ask for anything at all at Christmas. The way you get these kids that come up and go, I want this, I want that, I want this, I have to have this. My kids don't do that. Never have. And I still have kept all their wee Santa lists throughout the years. So when they're older, I'll be able to sort of say to them, you know, remember that list you wrote to Santa back, and there you go. But anyway, yes, very quiet Christmas this year, Winston, to be honest. We are doing very little. Mum and Dad will be around in the morning time, obviously, with Tony and his daughter, to see us and stuff, exchange gifts, whatever else, spend a bit of time with each other, and then they're going back home for their Christmas dinner. We're the same. We're not doing very much on Christmas evening. I've said to Brooke and Lewis actually yesterday, funny enough, I read this email today. I'm going to be pretty much just spending Christmas night or evening, afternoon in the night time on my own. I have no plans. You know, I've obviously no partner this year, so I'm just going to be spending Christmas night on my own. I even just go to bed early. Just have a quiet one. Boxing Day is going to be a good one because we're going for a big family dinner on Boxing Day, a big day out. Obviously, it's going to be myself, Brooke and Lewis, Mum and Dad, Tony, his daughter, Mum and Dad, of course. Mum's sister's going as well, and we're going to a restaurant, so it'll be fun for Boxing Day because there's no football for us on Boxing Day. It's the day after Boxing Day we're going to football, so Boxing Day will probably be a bit more entertaining than what Christmas Day will be. But what would I like for Christmas this year? Well, there is something I would like for Christmas this year, but I'm not going to get it, so I'm not going to talk about it. So, yeah, there's just one thing I want for Christmas this year, but unfortunately I'm not going to get it, so there's no point even asking or even saying what I want. So, but as long as Brooke and Lewis are happy, as I always say every year, I don't really mind whatever else happens at Christmas this year, because at the end of the day, as long as Brooke and Lewis are happy, I'm happy too. So, and obviously Mum and Dad and Tony and whatever else get a gift from me as well. I've even said to people this year not even to buy me a gift this year, because I'm not feeling I'm feeling Christmassy this year to a T, but again, the magic starts to wear away after, whenever your kids start getting older, guys, the magic wears away. But then some people say, like, wind your neck and you still got kids and all that there, but it's just been a really, 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 really crap year this year, guys, and I just sort of want to have a quiet Christmas this year, if you get me. I just want to have a nice quiet Christmas this year, because obviously I had big plans for Christmas this year, but obviously the plans have changed, so I just want a nice wee quiet one. And I said to Brooke, because Brooke's going to Paul's house on Christmas evening, after we've had our dinner and spent all our day and all together with the family and stuff. She's going obviously to see him on Christmas evening, to exchange gift with him and stuff like that there. So, and then obviously Lewis will probably be playing his PlayStation or something on Christmas night, or watching a movie or something like that. So I just thought to myself, I'll just sit downstairs and just be on my own and chill out and stuff like that over Christmas night and do not very much. So, but Boxing Day, we'll be out on Boxing Day for dinner, which will be interesting. That'll be fun. So it will be. That'll be an interesting afternoon, should we say. So, but I'm looking forward to that there. But no, it's going to be a pretty quiet one this year, Winston. So, I hope you have a great Christmas yourself, and obviously have a great time with your family and whatever else you're up to over Christmas. Hope you all have a safe and happy Christmas, and hopefully there's no snow. Well, maybe snow on Christmas morning to keep the kids happy from my side of it, and then let it all melt with rain or the sun. People are still asking for a white Christmas, so they are. So, right, I've one here from Francis, and then it says in brackets, Francie, probably a nickname or something like that. Hi Matthew, hope you're keeping well. Been listening to your podcast every week since it's first launched all those weeks ago. I know, tell me about it. I don't know how many weeks it's been now. You were talking about in your early podcasts about the TV license. Oh, here we go. The person goes on to say, I had a TV license person at my house last week, which I had to chase away with my husband. They were an absolute cheeky so-and-so. I don't want to swear, LOL. Unless I'm on the Unleashed podcast, and then we happy face. They were very, very nasty and cheeky to myself and my partner, so we chased them away from the door and told them we refused to pay a TV license because we felt it was unfair and not paying for a license for stuff that, number one, we don't watch, and number two, we don't agree with their policies and obviously how they scare people during the pandemic and more. Just thought I'd give you an update of that there, because you were speaking about TV licenses a lot of weeks ago. What's your thoughts on this? Hope this email gets to you safe and sound. I hope you, Brooke and Lewis, and your family are keeping well. Keep up the good work. There you go. TV license at the door again. I've seen a lot of people talk about that actually online recently. So I've actually saw a thing the other day. Where did I see it the other day? Was it on? It was online somewhere. I can't even remember what it was. And they were talking about the TV license apparently being scrapped. Is it 2024? I think it is, or whatever it is, 2025 or something. I don't know. But yes, TV license people are an absolute nightmare. I've seen loads of videos on TikTok of them coming to the door and being extremely forceful and nasty and cheeky, and yeah, just being complete numpties. So guys, at the end of the day, it's a personal choice when you want to pay your TV license or not. They're obviously saying that you have to have a license to have a TV, which is complete nonsense. Unless you're watching live TV on BBC or whatever, or Sky or whatever. If you're watching Netflix, YouTube or Amazon or whatever, you don't have to pay for a license, and that's the rules. So if they come to your door and give you a load of nonsense and say you must still pay if you're watching Netflix, whatever, no, I'm sorry, it's a subscription service which I pay for, which you don't need a license for. So take your wee folder, take your wee van down my pathway or driveway, whatever, and get into it and do yourself a favour and disappear, because they are a nightmare. So they are, guys. I obviously have my views on it because of obviously how people are being treated. Like they're even was it about a month ago I saw a story saying they were threatening to put pensioners in jail because of a TV license. Like, these are people in their 80s. And did they not even say, is it over 75s get a free TV license? So why are people coming to their doors and threatening them even though they're entitled to a free TV license? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So it is. It's just absolutely scandalous the way they're treating people and trying to scare people into doing something that's obviously not benefiting them. I have a lot of people who don't even watch. I know a lot of people who don't even watch TV. They would only watch the likes of a Netflix or whatever, or an Amazon Prime or something like that. There, and people don't have TVs in their bedrooms or nothing. Me personally, I've got TVs all around my room. I have a TV in my living room. I have a TV in my bedroom. Brooke and Lewis have a TV. I have a wee small TV in my kitchen. You know what I mean? So, but they're never hardly used. I would use my main TV for YouTube, Netflix for Brooke. You know, that's it. And then obviously the football, which you sometimes pay for. But, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's just, I don't know. Because there's services that you go on to and you can pay to watch the football. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. People always say to me, oh, but you go on about the TV license and stuff like that there, but you watch Liverpool matches and all live? Yeah, because I pay to watch it, that's why. There's services out there you can pay to watch Liverpool matches live. So, I don't know, guys. It's a whole big argument, and people are going on about the TV license still and all, and I still get people contacting me to this day. So again, it's entirely up to yourself, but if you don't watch live TV, the likes of a BBC, or you don't use the BBC iPlayer or BBC Sounds or whatever else out there, and all you're using is a like of a YouTube or a Netflix you don't need a TV license, and it states that. It's their rules, and it's passed by government, so I don't know. Anyway, thanks for your email. I do appreciate it. Right, I want to go on the Instagram here, maybe read one or two here before I head down the road, because I gotta get ready to rock and roll by the time I get this out too as well. It's got a really busy day today, so I have. So let's get onto the Instagram here, guys. I should have had this Instagram actually open before I decided to push the record button. It says here. Right. One here, I think I was actually asked this question a week or so ago by another listener. Ryan says here on Instagram, hi Matthew, question for the podcast is, what's your favourite Christmas film? Mine's is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It's a great film. I also have a question for Thursday podcast. Okay. Right, okay, well, I'll leave that other one for Thursday. It's about next year and stuff like that there. But Ryan, to answer your question about my favourite Christmas movie, I think I actually answered that. I was actually doing a bit more thinking about it actually after I spoke about it in the podcast before. The original Santa Claus movie was always a great memory of mine. And then I was talking about the other day, I have never watched Elf, or I've never watched The Grinch. So I was actually talking to Brooke about that the other day over the weekend there, and I said, right, we're going to watch that movie this year. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch it. But one of my all-time favourite movies of Christmas, not the favourite, but one of them is the original Snowman movie. That was a great movie back in the day. I actually love that film, and the song, obviously, We're Walking in the Air, which is a famous song too as well. Always brings back the young Christmas memories for me whenever I was a kid growing up. So yeah, The Snowman was a great movie too. If you haven't checked that out, go and watch it. It's a great movie. I think they've done a remake of it, did they not? A couple of years after. I'm not honestly sure, but it's one of the ones that I always remember growing up and watching back in the day. So, but no, I was sitting there thinking the other day about Christmas stuff and all that there, about all my Christmas memories when I was a kid too. Like waking up, I remember getting certain presents. Some presents actually I got when I was a kid I still have to this day. For example, my Sega Mega Drive. Oh, I'll never forget that year. 1993. God, Christmas 93 was an unbelievable year. I got my Sega Mega Drive with Sonic the Hedgehog, and I still have that Mega Drive to this day. So there you go. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, but yeah, well, sure. I'll answer your part of your question, Ram, for Thursday's podcast. Whenever I'm on Thursday, I'll try and remember. I'll actually save it and try and remember to answer the second part too, because you're asking about next year and stuff like that. There, 2023, and I can't believe it's 2023. It's bloody crazy, so it is. I don't know. I really don't know. But there you go. Right, let's go on to our Instagram message here before I go. Let's have a look here and see. Gee whiz, there's so many. See, guys, I think I said to you the other day. Was it on the vlog? I said the other day. I've been trying to reply to a lot of you, as many as possible, because some of you are just asking question after question. Some of you are asking multiple questions. So they are multiple questions. Here we are. Here's one here. One here from John. John is from, doesn't say. It just says John on Instagram wants to know. You said before, Matthew, on your vlog, you're a big fan of Only Fools and Horses. Who is your favourite character and why? What is your favourite episode of the iconic TV series? And would you ever like to see it come back for one last episode? For example, to see Del Boy and Raquel get married. There you go. Yes, I am a massive, massive, massive Only Fools and Horses fan. I absolutely love it to pieces. So I do. My favourite character in the programme would probably be Del Boy himself or Rodney. My favourite episode, well, there's quite a few actually. The last one, which was a bit of a tearjerker, where right at the very end, Rodney obviously had his baby and stuff, because in previous episodes, obviously him and his partner had a miscarriage. They finally had a wee girl, and at the very end, where it ended, where they were standing in the graveyard at their mother's grave, and Del Boy asks Rodney, he says to him, have you thought of her name for her? And he says, yep, and he points to the grave, and obviously it says that the mum's name, obviously Joan Trotter, and then grandson of, and obviously Del Boy's name and all of the sons, and then at the very bottom it says the name of the wee girl who's named after the mum, which was really, really sad. So, but it's a nice way to end it. But yes, our favourite episode is the Jolly Boys outing, where they're all on the bus journey to, where do they go to? My God, is it Brighton or Margate? Margate. They're on a Beano to Margate. Oh, I was thinking Brighton there. It's just going to my head there. Another favourite episode of mine is when Rodney gets married. The last scene, well, the scene in the show where the camera's panning out, where Del Boy's left standing on his own because Rodney's now grew up, but he's moved out, and the storytelling on Only Fools and Horses is amazing, and it's one of those shows that will never be replaced, because in recent years we've obviously lost the likes of Boise, who passed away 2 years ago, all of a sudden out of the blue. We've lost a couple of, like Mike Behind the Bar. We've lost Grandad back in the 80s. We lost Buster Merrifield, who played Uncle Albert, but obviously they done those storylines in that series, obviously, where they passed away and stuff like that there, and they done a funeral and all for them. So, but one thing never happened in the TV is obviously it was asked during the question from the listener, Del Boy never got married. And there was a joke in there all the time. Rodney used to say to him all the time, every time an old fiance popped up, I never forget that joke, and I actually still use it sometimes whenever I hear about people getting engaged all the time. He says, Del Boy, you've been engaged more times than a switchboard. But that was one of those programs. Yes, it's one of my favourite programs of all time, where it obviously it knew how to take you on an emotional roller coaster, from being sitting there completely pissing yourself laughing to sitting in tears, to a serious incident, to another joke. Like literally a serious incident where, give me an example, like back in the early stages of Only Fools and Horses, Rodney was having a wee fling with a married woman, and her husband got out of prison, and the guy came out of prison looking for Rodney, and obviously beat him up and stuff like that, and they pulled Del Boy in the entry one night and thought he was Rodney, and Del Boy took the beating for Rodney, because obviously didn't want his wee brother getting beat up or something like that. But it just took you on one of those emotional roller coasters, up and down and up and down and up and down, and obviously the time whenever, one of my favourite parts as well, is where Rodney finally talks about the time when he lost the baby. It was just one of those programmes where it's just, and it's one of the ones you don't get tired watching. You know what I mean? So, and also to answer your question, would I ever like to see it come back? Do you think now would be too late? Because the guy who wrote it, John Sullivan, he's no longer with us either. So they've obviously done a wee sketch on Comic Relief for the likes of David Beckham and all. He was in. They were sitting in the cafe and stuff, and in the market and stuff. So, but again, David Jason is now into his 80s, and would you like to see maybe one last time? I would love to see it, but I can't see it happening. I really can't. And it ended in 2003. Like, Jesus, nearly 20 years ago. I actually remember watching the last episode when it aired that night. I was still living at home. I was what? 20? 20? Or 20, 20, I can't remember. I actually watched it with Brooke and Lewis's mum that night, and she was sitting beside me blubbering her eyes out, and I was a bit tearful too, because obviously the end scene with the whole naming the baby after the mum and stuff, but Yeah, no, it's one of those programs that takes you on a roller coaster. And for anybody out there who's never watched Only Fools and Horses, like I have a lot of listeners who are abroad and wherever else, and you've never watched it, please watch it. It's just so funny, and it's one of those programs you could just watch over and over again. But yeah, that would be my favorite character, and obviously my favorite scenes and stuff like that. That would obviously be it. And then, you know, I would love to see it again. But I would love to meet Del Boy and Rodney. I would love to meet them someday. So there's all them conventions and stuff that are starting to re-happen again over in England and stuff. And I'd love to get a ticket just to go and meet him, and just to have a photograph with David Jason. You know, I've seen him on TV there recently promoting his new book and whatever else. So, but no, that's my favourite programme. Well, one of my favourite programmes, and I absolutely adore it. So thanks for your question, I appreciate it, and I hope you have a nice Christmas. Right, guys, I'm going to go because I've got things to do here today, and I've been on the air here now for, good God, I don't even know how long it's been now. I've just been recording here. But yeah, guys, Thursday's podcast is going to be a packed one. I've got a couple more decent things I want to talk about on the podcast this coming Thursday. Preparing myself for the weekend ahead of busyness again. Thank you once again for all your questions and stuff. Again, I'm going to try and spend maybe a couple of hours this evening before I head to bed, and obviously tomorrow try and reply to some of you. I haven't even got a chance to even do an Instagram stream. I haven't done an Instagram stream now in about 10 days. I need to get another Instagram stream done, a live one, because there's sometimes guys will pop up on Instagram. And here's the thing as well, I was actually talking to Lewis about this yesterday, about maybe doing a couple of live streams on the Facebook page to try and help get the audience on the Facebook page as well, because the Facebook page has sort of got really quiet at the minute. So if you see a message on Instagram or whatever advertising me coming live on Facebook, jump over to the Moon Army YouTube channel, Facebook page, and drop a like on it, and I'll be doing a couple of wee live streams on there very soon as well. And I'm even considering doing a wee live stream on Christmas Eve, because we always do a message for every year at Christmas where we sit on the sofa and talk about our year and wish everybody a happy Christmas. And then I've done them for years and years, even before we come on to YouTube. I used to just put them on my personal Facebook every year. But when you look back at all those and look back and see how much Brooke and Lewis has grew up over the years, it's really frightening. So it is. But I'll be doing that. I'll be recording that message probably next week sometime for the YouTube channel. So can't believe it's Christmas again, guys. Like, seriously, where the hell's the bloody time gone to? Christmas, next week's podcast will be the Christmas ones, because it'll be the Sunday that's the Christmas after. If I remember, just check my dates here before I push the stop button on recording today. See, guys, I'm organised, but I'm disorganised today, if you know what I mean. Let me have a look here now. Next week, this Thursday's podcast will be the 15th. That's right, because next Tuesdays and next Thursday, which is the 20th and 22nd, we'll be doing the week of Christmas specials. So next week's podcast, guys, will be Christmas specials, 20th and 22nd of December. I've got some interesting stuff to talk about next week, because Brooke's got a big awards night and all coming up next week. So I'll be telling you about that there. I want to try and get the kids into the next Tuesday's podcast for talk about Christmas and Christmas memories and whatever else. So, guys, keep your Christmas stuff coming in, emails and whatever else you want to send to me, because we'll read them out on the show next week, next Tuesday. In fact, what we'll do is next Tuesday we'll definitely get Brooke and Lewis on for a Christmas special where we'll sit and talk to them about their Christmas memories and stuff. Even though the two will probably just sit and look at me and go, "Oh, you're right, Daddy." Oh, they're mustard, the two of them are, so they are, the two of them. But I love them to bits, and I wouldn't change them for the world. Guys, before I go, once again, don't forget, if you want to get in touch with the podcast, it's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Check out the social medias, official Matthew Moore on Instagram, Moore Army YouTube channel on Facebook. And also, guys, the merch and all the stuff's available still. You want to get it in before Christmas, get it ordered now. moorarmy.co.uk. All your videos are on there, photographs from social media. It's like a hub for the Moore Army. And also the Moore Army merchandise stores on there too as well. Please, if you want to get it now, you want to get your merch before Christmas, get it now, because it will go quick. And I think the Christmas merch stops going on sale. I think it's the day after, no, Christmas Eve, I think it is, or day after Christmas. I can't remember. So if you want to get it before Christmas, get it ordered now. moorarmy.co.uk. Right, guys, I'm going to head down the road here for another week. So thanks for listening to me talking absolute nonsense. And thank you for tuning in as always. Appreciate it. If there's still snow in your area, be careful where you are, and while you're driving or out walking about, be careful, guys. No matter what you're up to. And if any Christmas parties this week, like I am this weekend, behave yourself. Don't get too drunk and don't be fighting with your boss. Please don't. I've been there before. Trust me, it's not nice. Behave yourselves, all your Christmas parties this week. Nah, I'm only kidding. Enjoy yourselves, but most importantly, get home safe and in one piece and not too many hangovers. I don't get hangovers like, but I'm quite lucky. So right, guys, enjoy obviously the next couple of days until I speak to you on Thursday. Keep getting in touch with me. I'll read out as many as I can on Thursday, and I'll get them 2 monsters to come on next Tuesday for the Christmas week of the Moore Army podcast. Here we go again. Right, I'm going to go. So until Thursday, guys, hope you enjoy your Tuesday and your Wednesday, and I'll see you all on Thursday, guys. Thanks for listening.